Welcome back to Flute Tube. We're in my office one last time to remind all of my flute majors about this space and being in the School of Music and working hard. And also, I wanted to remind you about this bear painting. It's very important that you don't forget the bear painting. In fact, I'm pretty sure I'm taking this with me when I leave today. Today, I'm going to give you two very important fingering secrets. They're not really secrets. You may have come across this at some point before, but they will change your playing experience for the better, no question. It may take you a little while playing the flute to even realize that this is a problem. But I'm going to explain the problem for you first, and then you'll have to stick around to get the secret fingerings at the end of the episode. So the problem is that when you're up in the high register, the flute is built on a semi-harmonic system, which means that our higher notes we get partially by overblowing lower notes. So we have a problem with high A going down to high E, and also high B going down to high F sharp. The problem is that high A is actually an overblown E. So if you blow your way up to the high A, and then you need to come down to the E is going to want to stay on the A because you're already overblowing an E to get to that A. So it's going to want to sit there. And it's hard to get the jump back down to the E to happen. You have to kind of finesse it a bit. And the first time I realized this was when I was playing Iberic Concerto. The first thing that you play, the first little phrase, once you get it in your fingers, any of you who've played it will know that then you have another challenge, which is that there's a high E to A to E in there. And going down from the A to the E is rocky. So you might be going along just fine. But there, right there, your flute wants to do and stay up there on the A. So I spent hours on this because I was a kid who couldn't wait to play Iberic. I started when I was 11, and I spent hours on this opening phrase trying to figure out how to make that E to A to E work really smoothly. I played Iberic for years. I won a couple of big competitions with it. One was Jefferson Symphony Orchestra competition, which meant that I played the entire Iberic Concerto with the orchestra. And all that time, I was doing with inside my mouth, forcing something to change to get that E to come out because I did not know this secret trick to do. And as soon as I learned it, I thought, oh man, all those hours I spent on Iberic, and I never even had to because I could have been doing this all along and it would have worked right away. So high B to high F sharp is the same thing. If you finger a high B, that is an overblown F sharp. So if I go from B to F sharp and I don't change anything, my flute wants to stay on the B like this. So again, you're stuck with how do I finesse it and force it to go down to the F sharp. So if you haven't played these notes a lot, if you haven't had really fast intervals where you have to leap from an A to an E, you don't realize this is important, but as soon as you've played a few pieces like Iberic, you know that we have to deal with this and that it's very aggravating to try to do something with your mouth or your jaw or your airstream to force that A back down to E or force that B back down to F sharp. Okay, I think we're at the point that I can tell you the two secret fingerings for high A to high E and high B to high F sharp. There are ways that you can force the note to come back down. So here you go, high A to high E. If you go from A to E, what can you change to make that E pop out? Well, there's something that works, and I was told this secret and then it took me a while to figure out exactly why it works. Here's why it works. High A is one of the only notes we have that your pinky must be down. If you play a high A with no pinky, it doesn't want to come out. You can get it to come out, but it does not want to. If I play with my pinky and then I take it off, you can tell it just doesn't want to stay on the high A. So that's what you can use to get back down to the E. If you're playing your high A and you have to have your pinky down, and then you go down to the E, that high E, we often, by choice, take our pinky off because it helps our intonation most of the time. It makes the E a little bit flatter, which usually the E is a little bit sharp. So you might want to take that pinky off anyway. But if you're playing an A and you go down to the E and you lift your pinky, that E is going to pop right out. It won't want to stay on the A because the E no longer wants to overblow to the A because you're not fingering it right. You don't have your pinky on. So there's something similar you can do for B to F sharp, and it's not your pinky. These days flutes are good enough that on the high B, technically you're not supposed to have your pinky down, but most flutes these days, it doesn't even really make a difference. Whether your pinky's down or not, the B's going to come out. So it's not your pinky, but it's how you finger the F sharp. If you do a normal F sharp fingering, like I showed you before, it's going to want to stay on that high B. But there's another common F sharp fingering. Interestingly enough, it's like fingering your high E, that we often choose this fingering with your second finger on your right hand because the third finger, F sharp, is often sharp. Not always, but very often. So by choice for pitch, you might want to do this. But again, if you close this key instead of that key, just the position of that hole makes the F sharp pop out. The flute does not want to overblow to B if this key is closed instead of that key. I have to work so hard to try to get it to overblow because of the spacing here with this key. It wants to just pop right out. Whereas if I do this, it doesn't want to cooperate. The only way I can get it to go down is to do a little bit of stuff with my jaw and my tongue and maybe think a different vowel inside my mouth so that I can get down to the F sharp. And you don't want to have to do that. You want the notes to just pop right out. So A to E, piece of cake if you lift your pinky. B to F sharp, piece of cake if you just do this fingering instead of this fingering. That means you're going to use your third finger here on this trill key, which normally I do anyway, and then use your second finger here. So you definitely, if you're going to finger the F sharp this way, you're going to have to use your second finger on the trill key and then go to your third finger for the F sharp. So you're just switching those two fingers, obviously, but just to be sure that you understand.